Right then. Hello there everybody, I am Oscar W. Fitchett, and as you can tell by the title of this video, the title is Loneliness, My Experience. And yeah, this video is going to be myself talking about my experience with loneliness. Now, before I get fully into the video and talking about things, I'm going to try to not cut anything from this video. To make it, just more authentic or something. So the flow might not be there, but this is, this is me. This is done more so for me to tell people, and hopefully this might end up helping some people. And excuse me if you hear anything out there. I've got the window slightly open near some train tracks, so you might hear some trains going by. But yeah, so I'm just going to get right into it then now. Train and all. So yeah, basically for about 5 years now, I've been dealing with loneliness. It took me a while to actually realise that this was the feeling that I was feeling, but yeah, that's basically what it is. So 5 years ago, in 2014, I made the decision to quit university, having only been in university for 4 months. I'm 23 right now. I'll be 24 this June. That means I was born in 1995. And the fact that when I left university, this has been the first time in my life since I was like a toddler that I had not been in any form of education. I technically started education in 1999 when I was so 20 years ago, when I was in nursery, so I would have been 4, and I was in primary school till I was 11, so for 7 years I was in primary school. I went directly from primary school to secondary school, and I was there until I was 16, so I was in secondary school for 5 years, and then right after secondary school I went directly to college for 2 years. So I was there from 16 to 18, and then directly after college I made the decision to go right to university, and I was only there for 4 months. I left about early January. I chose to leave early January because at the time I didn't feel like university was right for me at the time. I wasn't ready with the amount of stuff that I would have to be doing for university when I was 18. So I stepped away from education, and this was the first time this happened. So for the first time in my life, really, I didn't have to worry about deadlines. I didn't worry about getting up early to go into anywhere. I didn't have to worry about I need to worry about writing, I need to do it. I didn't have to worry about any of that. So thus, I guess, as a result, I didn't end up seeing many people on a day-to-day basis. Because when you're in school, you're going in for 5 days, and you're going in and you're interacting with loads of people, and then you go home, and then you just want home to be absolutely alone time. I just want to chill. I want to play on my Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. But in 2014, early 2014, I left university. I still had friends. I had 3 very good friends at the time. And within 2014, I used my time basically to fully devote myself to Heel Pictures and the YouTube channel. And if you go on to Heel Pictures and you go to the year 2014, you'll see that there was like loads of stuff on there. That's kind of the golden years, I guess you can say, for Heel Pictures. You know, we reviewed loads of films. That was the year that VHS Pirate Season 1 was made and released. There was a lot happening there because I had all this time to do so. And yeah, and so I had 2014 to myself, which also means I had loads of time with myself and my own thoughts and my own mind. And since I didn't have to think about work or anything, I just had my thoughts. And sometimes I would force myself to think about Heel Pictures and, well, do this then, do this. Make a daft short film, review a film. But I also had but since those weren't really necessary or didn't like have much work to them, I just had a lot of time just to think to myself and just think, just stay with my own thoughts, and I would think about just generally the situation I was in at the time. Nothing really too much happened in 2014 in terms of emotionally or anything. Within 2015, two of my close friends were within a relationship. One of them had already been, or one of them had it was whatever. Another friend of mine who was within a relationship felt the need to remind me about the fact that I wasn't in a relationship. I'm only just kind of putting these pieces together now. This is probably whatever. I'm talking whatever. Myself and another friend within this group as well, weren't in a relationship. But one friend who was in a relationship felt the need to remind me of the fact that they were in a relationship. I was not. Didn't think too much of it. And around about mid-April time, 2015, that's when I started being aware of these, that's when I started being aware of emotions I started having. And the only way I could describe these feelings were emptiness, darkness, pain, but not chest pain, like emotional pain. And the when I think about these emotions and feelings I had, how I remember them was this big, it's just black, it's like this big black void, and it's not claustrophobic. In fact, it was the opposite of claustrophobia. It was like there's so much, it was just endless space, but it was all black, and there was no light, there was no top. The only light that I remember thinking about this was me. And it wasn't like there was a spotlight on me, it was just the only thing visible in this time was me and my thoughts. I'm drinking green tea, by the way, in case you're wondering. That's what this is. And that kind of started happening in April 2015 time. And it would be times when I would be really just sadness, and I kind of at the time I just put it down to are these feelings. I thought like I would either put these emotions down to either I was getting stressed about VHS Pirates Season 2, because this was around about the time when we were trying to start making VHS Pirates Season 2. So I either put it down to VHS Pirates stress, or I was just sad that I didn't have a girlfriend, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's why I just put the emotions down to at the time. And about a month later, I confided with a friend about how I've been feeling, and again, I just thought it was simply a thing of like, oh, I'm sad I'm not in a relationship. And at that moment in time, I had this one friend who I was incredibly close with, and I would confide in them with all my emotions and feelings towards the situation. And I kind of thought about this scenario as like, oh, this is kind of like, I'm getting through this now. Like, okay then. Yeah, just that really. And these feelings would kind of have a dip, like, would dip and all that stuff, and then show its face again, then dip, then bury itself again. And then about January time, 2016, I kind of realised to myself that, like, the word that this emotion is loneliness. And for ages, I pushed that to one side. I was like, it's not loneliness. I'm not lonely. I have friends. I have plenty of friends. I have family who love me. I'm not lonely. I've got people around me. I talk to not loads of people. I talk to plenty of people. I'm not lonely. And in January 2016, so a bit over 3 years ago now, Jesus Christ, 3 years ago, it's mental. I realised that, like, loneliness isn't, there's a difference between being alone and lonely. Alone is the physical thing of, like, right now, I'm alone in this room. It's literally me and the camera right now in this room. That's alone. And alone time's good. I like alone time. I sometimes like just being alone in my room, on the couch, watching a film. I like being alone. But lonely is an emotion that you have. You can feel loneliness around a group of people. And that would happen. And it would happen. It would, I would be out walking with 4 other people who I considered friends, who were friends of mine. Be out walking with people, and I would just feel so isolated, and I would just feel so, for the lack of a better word, lonely. And again, for the longest time, I just kind of chopped it up to like, I'm just sad that that I'm not in a relationship. And then about later 2016, this person that I confided in left my life, but then another person came into my life, and I essentially confided with this person and only really talked to this person about how I was feeling, my emotions and all this stuff. And again, at that time I felt like, okay, I'm not lonely anymore. I got in a good state of my life. I was like, okay, I'm not lonely anymore. I'm fine. But then every now and then that would kind of the feeling would rear its head back. And I wouldn't know, like, okay, no, that can't be right. I can't be right. And I would just, this again, and every now and then I would just have this just dark, empty feeling within me. And there would be times, especially within 2015 and even 2016, where I would get so overwhelmed with this feeling that I would end up just crouching in the middle of the floor and just crying, because I didn't know what to do about it. And this feeling, there's nothing that like really like happened as such to like really make this happen. All this was kind of like, I would say, just a big progression. And I would say probably about a month ago now, I kind of just had a bit of a meltdown and a breakdown, and I just felt awful. I was like, there's no one, I don't feel like anyone's there. I don't have anyone there for me. I feel like I only have this one person. I thought that would be all I need, but it's clearly not. I don't know what to do. And I just wouldn't talk to people. I wouldn't tell people about it because I thought, well, why would people want to know that? I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a nuisance. I don't want to just like be. I don't want to be the guy that people go, "Eesh, that Oscar there, he's a bit much, isn't he?" I don't want to be that, so I just didn't talk about it. I would just put it away, and then I would deal with it myself when the time came to when I would just feel this like emotional pain, and I just didn't tell people. And it got to this point where I just broke down and I was crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to tell people because I don't want to be a nuisance. I don't want to feel like a burden to people. And someone close to me said to me that, and this essentially kind of changed my life in this sense, said to me, if you don't tell people, no one's going to know how you feel. And then I thought to myself, wow, that's right. If I keep telling people I'm fine, I'm alright, they're going to just think that I'm okay and I'm fine. No one's a mind reader. No one can just tell. They might have an inkling, but they're not going to like go out their way to talk to you. If you keep saying you're fine and you're okay. And at that moment I realised, like, that's right. If I don't tell anyone, Jesus Christ, sorry about it, it's rain and I just realised it's like pouring down. But yeah, if I don't tell anyone, massive change. If I don't tell anyone, then I'm not going to have anyone there for me. So I ended up writing a message, typing up a message, and I sent it to the people that I felt had to know. And I send it to, I'll try and find the thing. I sent it to a group of people. I sent it to like a group as well as like another person that I felt needed to know then and there. I'm not going to read the whole message because this is basically the message. It's just thought on about now. Hang on. I should cut this, but I'm not going to. But here it is. I sent the message. One reply I got back was, you know where we are if you need us, Oscar. Another reply was from, I'll say it, this one was from Gary, who I've known him since July 2006. We've been we've been really good friends since early 2008, so about 11 years now we've been good friends. And he was one of the people I just didn't choose to tell about any of this. And it wasn't anything that he did or anything, but I just felt like he wouldn't want to know or anything like that. And he replied saying, well, wasn't expecting that. You know I'm always here to talk, Oscar. Love you, man. You know that. And even still now, when he first sent that to me, I got like so emotional. I guess it's because I just didn't like think on, and I felt like so bad in the sense of like, why didn't I just tell him? Like, all this time, why didn't I just tell him? Of course he would have been there for me. Of course he would have listened. It was just my own mentality being like, oh, he won't want to listen to that. And it just took that for me to realise, oh my God, of course he means that. Of course he would have listened. Of course he would be there for me. Why wouldn't have he been? Sorry. I'm not crying, I'm just, it's, yeah. And another friend of mine replied saying, always here for you, Oscar, whenever you need me. Never feel that you're a burden. And near enough right after he sent that message, he messaged me privately to say, to arrange a meet-up between himself, myself, and Gary. And I think we need to like just have a meet-up in person. And he told me he's always there to support. And the only time he wouldn't be able to message or talk is if he's at work, and I'm like, I get that. And he gave me his phone number because we didn't have each other's phone numbers, and yeah, and then he like finished it off saying, don't feel that you can't talk if you need to. And then another friend of mine who I've known for years, messaged me back saying, it's good that you're opening up. If you're ever feeling lonely, you can always message me and we can go for a coffee or just meet up, mate. It can't be nice feeling that way. And yeah. And it was just such an eye-opening experience to like realise that all I needed to do was just tell people. And then there's so many people out there who do care. it was kind of like a George Bailey situation in It's a Wonderful Life. I've never felt suicidal. Never in my life. But it's like that moment in It's a Wonderful Life where everything is going wrong for George Bailey, and he's contemplating jumping over a bridge and taking his own life, and then a guardian angel comes down, shows him what life would be like if he never existed, and that in fact a lot of people are better off for knowing him. And it wasn't quite the same effect. Again, I wasn't contemplating suicide, not at all. I didn't have a guardian angel show me what life would be like if I didn't exist. But it was like a thing was like, I went from being like, oh, no one's life would be any altered if it wasn't for me. If I wasn't around, no one would really care. And again, I've never contemplated killing myself, never. But like just messaging people and telling them like my struggle, I realize how many people actually do care for me. People that the last message I read out there, that was from someone that I knew from primary school. We hadn't talked in like a decade, and I just messaged like, this Christmas just gone, and then we got talking a bit, and then we arranged to meet up like 2 months ago, and then we met up and then we chatted, and even then he said that like, if you ever feel like that, drop us a message. And it's like, I just didn't think on, really, that there's people out there. And the whole point of this video is kind of like, I want to talk about it for myself, but also maybe for the possibility of someone else who is feeling a similar way. I want to be open about it. I want to like share that bit about me. I want to make it more of an obvious thing, like that's something that I've dealt with, that's part of me, and I'm getting through it. And it's a thing that a lot of people don't talk about, loneliness. They don't. People talk about substance abuse, they talk about alcoholism, they talk about drug addiction, they talk about cancer and homophobia and racism and depression. And all of those things are incredibly important, and all of them should be talked about. But also, loneliness should be talked about. People just kind of think loneliness is or whatever. Everyone feels that way. Everyone might have a bit of loneliness in them, but not everyone realizes that the true deep feeling of loneliness does hurt. It is painful, and it really sucks. And I'm just feeling like the more open that I am about it, the better that I am going to feel, and the less scared I'm going to feel about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be like, oh, people are going to see me as pathetic. You're going to feel better for it to like get it off your chest and tell people, this is how I feel. And for a lot of people, this is probably going to be the first time that they're going to hear this is about how I felt. I've told family members, not all my family, I guess, but I've told family members about this feeling. I think that's important to say. I didn't want them finding out through this way. But yeah, like I just feel like this is an important thing for me, and I just feel like more people who feel this way should feel like they can talk about it. And at this moment in time, I'm at a good point in my life. I've been making certain choices and decisions for myself, and someone also said, and people have been telling me, you need to think about yourself. You need to think about how something's going to make you feel, because I have been, for a while now, I've been putting my own feelings to the back and thinking to myself, I've been thinking about other people's feelings before mine. And people haven't been telling me to just disregard how people feel. That's a very important thing. I'm still courteous to people. I'm still cautious about how people feel. But I'm now starting to make decisions whether if I feel about how I feel about the situation, as opposed to thinking of a situation and being like, oh, how is it going to make them feel? And that's what I think needs to be done. If you are feeling lonely in any way, start thinking about yourself. Because a lot of the time, you don't tell anyone because you don't want, like myself, you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be a nuisance. They got their own issues to deal with. They don't need to hear from mine. If you feel like that you need to talk to someone about it, then talk to someone. Like, I wasn't going to message... I was going to put that message to my main group of friends. I wasn't going to tell the guy that I've known since primary school. I was like, maybe I won't, maybe I shouldn't. We're not that close, really. He probably won't want to hear about that. And then I got told, if you're debating whether you should tell him about it, then tell him. And that's what I'll say to you. If you're thinking to yourself, maybe I should tell that person. Maybe I shouldn't actually tell that person. Because you're going to feel a lot better for it. And a lot of people experience different types of loneliness. They're not all this same experience of mine. Some people experience loneliness where they are alone and they are lonely. Like, they don't have really any friends. They don't really have any family. It's just them. And I can't imagine how that must feel. But it's a thing where, like, find someone to talk to. What are your hobbies? What do you like doing? Do you like playing sports? Invest in maybe going to a sports club or something. Do you like, I don't know. Do you like just go do something? There's apps that like Patuk and Bumble, where you can try to meet up with, platonically meet up with people. Even if it's just a little bit of a chat on the phone, like just a little message, and that's it really. That's a good start. Just be open, talk to people. I'm not sure how many people this video will reach, or if it will reach anyone, really. I'm doing this so I can look loneliness in the face and go like, this this can't happen anymore. So what am I doing? I'm making this video. I want to make it a public thing. I didn't want to post like a big status on Facebook because, yeah, why? I'm doing this because it's like, I'm not doing it to be like, look at my problems. I'm doing it in a sense to be like, this is what I've had to do. This is how I've felt. This is what I've dealt with. And I'm not hiding it anymore. And I'm not going to hide things about myself anymore. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be myself. And I didn't really feel like I had a right to do that in a sense, because it's like, well, what have I got to hide? I'm a straight white male. I don't have to open myself up about my sexuality, because heterosexual people don't get scrutiny near enough as much as the LGBTQ. I'm white. I don't suffer any racism like other ethnicities do. I'm a man. I'm not a subject to sexism. So I haven't felt like I've really had anything to really hide. But I've had this. I've had this loneliness. And it's not sad. It's not pathetic. I'm not a wimp for feeling this way. I'm not less of a man for talking about my feelings. I'm a human. I have feelings, and I'm opening up about them to make it easier for myself. And hopefully, if anyone else is watching this who is feeling similarly, can't say the word, who is feeling similar, hopefully this has helped in some way. Yeah, I didn't necessarily plan to make this the first proper video on my solo channel, but it's an important topic that needs to be talked about, not just by me, but by people. People out there need to be able to talk about this. And I'm going to leave a link in the description for a video that was uploaded about a month ago about loneliness, which is a cool little animation, and it's packed with really good information about loneliness, and it covers the more broad sense of loneliness, as opposed to just my experience with it. It covers the overall sense of loneliness, as well as if you're in the UK. If you're in the UK and you don't feel like you have anyone to talk to, find your local Mind charity and go to there. I haven't done that, but I feel like I don't need to, at least not right now. But if you're really in that dark situation, and this situation can cause, it didn't with me, it never crossed my mind, but with a situation like this, it can cause suicidal thoughts. And just, if you feel like you got no one to talk to, find your local Mind. And just, even though there might not be someone there for you now, there will be someone out there for you. There will be someone there to support you. But within that type of situation, you need to push yourself. to make yourself more, to try and help yourself. And that's what I've been doing. And so yeah, that's been this video. I don't really know how to end it. I'm not going to ask, I'm not going to make anything to be like, share this video. It would be appreciative, but I'm not doing this to get the likes or the subscribers. I'm doing this to voice my experience and to try to help myself in this scenario. And at the moment, and as of right now, I've been doing good. I've been doing good. But I'm also going to try to get better. And hopefully anyone out there will feel the same way to try to get better. Final words. Be open. Don't be afraid. You're not less of a person for having these emotions. You're not, and you're definitely not less of a person for talking about them. And that's it. Thank you.